Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. First thing you'll notice is that sea of purple up there has gone. The last few blooms fell over the weekend, so I've taken the spike off. So the only Vanda that's actually in bloom now is the white one. So I've moved that to the front so we can see it. It is a bit thin on the ground this time of year. If it wasn't for the good old Twinkles, there wouldn't be a lot around. But this one's still looking quite good, so I think this spike may hang in there a reasonable amount of time. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, the plant itself has pushed up a couple of new leaves recently, so that's doing okay. There is some progression on some stuff here. It's just a matter of whether I can get at it. If you have a look at the Make tucked up in there, you can see that the spike in the centre is actually pushing up enough to start the buds spreading out now. I mean, that spike's got 4 buds on, and there's several other spikes lurking in there, so we should have some blooms on that one soon. They're very attractive Cattleya blooms. They're not huge, but once this plant really gets a hold and, you know, re-establishes its root system, because it did get a bit disturbed, you know, from where it was got and coming to me and then getting potted in totally different media, so it's got to get going again. But there's quite a lot of new growths and quite a lot of root activity going on, so I think come the next growing season that's really going to take off, which will be good. What else have we got? There was something over here. No, there wasn't. Just on the Cattleya cernua, talk about just in time. If I hadn't taken that to that show, then by the time the next chance came up, all the blooms would be gone. They're starting to fade in several places, even though some have only recently opened, so we'll have that around for another, well, probably at least a week, heading towards 2 maybe, if we're lucky. Right up the back here, which is difficult to get at, but until it opens a bit better than that, I'm not going to bother getting the plant out. The little cinnamon Twinkle's just opened its first few blooms, so we'll get that one out where we can see it better. There's a lot of spikes on that plant. This is the most advanced spike, so there's leaves in the way, and quite a few of these blooms will open over the next couple of days, so the first spike should be in full bloom reasonably soon. But yeah, so that's as I said, if it wasn't for the Twinkles doing their thing, the one from is this the one from Ridlington? No, this was the Red Fantasy. Most of these buds were open when I got this. This is a recent jobby, but there's still quite a few buds to come, so that particular Twinkle will be out for some time. The other one over here, the one that came from Ridlington, most of the buds are open now. Although, yeah, there are still to come. I mean, there's another spike round here with quite a few buds on. So again, yeah, it should be out for some considerable time. The other rhodostictum pair of buds have now opened now. So what have we got on this one? We've got 4 on that spike, and now another 2 following up behind. These are 3-month jobs. Dendrobium rhodostictum, and they might even last longer because they've opened in the winter, so it's cooler. Blooms that open in the cool of the winter for me can last a lot longer, not a little bit, a lot. So that works out well. This Tolumnia has just opened, but this isn't strictly speaking a new bloom because it's now the branches on the original spike. So the original blooms that were up here have been trimmed back, but it was already branching by then, so this is like a continuation. But it's nice to have that lovely splash of colour. And when they first open, the edging on the 2 petals is absolutely superb. It's deep red with real golden yellow edging around it. So, and then the lip shape down here does actually change. That changes colour quite dramatically. When it opens, it's more yellow than anything, with like orangey stripes, what look like stripes. But as that ages, that colour changes quite dramatically and becomes more orangey, a more overall orange look. Other new stuff. Oh, the other the other Masdevallia. So I'm trying to dig into this flipping bush here. Wherever it is, it's in the way. That bloom's lasting well. Sorry, we're peering through the jungle. As I say, I'm not moving plants around at the moment. I've got to go out very soon. Dental appointment, and my teeth poked about. But the second bud is swelling up nicely, and the bud on the Dracula Bella is starting to swell now. And I'll do my best not to knock the bud off this time. And digging in here, so I'm just going to move the Rhyncho stylus and plonk it down there, right in front of where the heater goes. But I won't leave it there this time. The Masdevallia ignea blooms. The second one's just opening down there. On this particular Masdevallia, that's how they open. The two lower sections of the plant don't have tails like a lot of Masdevallias and Draculas have, and the top one, that's normally like the third triangular shape, forms a hood. So that's how they open. But that is the camera's not going to do justice to that because it's red, but it's red fading towards orange in the center, and it's the depth of color, just the sheer depth of color. It's gorgeous. So that's that one. Restrepias are just doing their thing like they always do. We've got Paphiopedilum buds pushing up. The Mordier, no, they won't be silhouetted, it's too early in the day. The Mordier bud is pushing up now and starting to swell, and the other one you can just see the hook of it sticking out above the leaf. And there's actually a third Paphiopedilum just starting its bud, just pushing out from the crown. So we'll have 3 Paphiopedilums down the line. It'll probably be 4 because the Mordier will probably spike on the other new growth. It's got 2 new growths, but they're a bit staggered this year. Last year they came out very close together. But last year we didn't see them for long because they were in the house, and the dry atmosphere in there just turned those blooms over in 2 to 3 weeks. They just dried out. They couldn't cope with it. So not the right atmosphere for those. And it was probably a lot to do with the change of the atmosphere, you know, coming out from a high sort of humidity environment into an almost dry environment. All right, let's put that back before we roast it again. I mean, we're having a proper Christmas dinner. We're not actually having roast Rhyncho stylus, so I'll get that away from the heater. Somebody asked for an update on the Cymbidium. Well, basically the spike is pushing on nicely since we last looked at it. That is a spike, no question. Around the other side is something lurking, just here. And it doesn't seem to be moving very much, so that might be the embryo growth for next year's actual bulb. I don't really know. I mean, on the previous bulb it pushed up 2 spikes, and they did come up roughly together as well, so it's behaving slightly differently this year. But then it was outside in the heat wave, so surprised it's still alive, quite honestly. So we've got 1 spike definitely anyway. It'll be a while before that, you know, gets to buds and blooms, but coming on. And then, beyond all hope, when I walked out here this morning, it's finally opened a bloom. And I don't know whether that is fully open, but it's opened better than anything else on that plant before. This is the Epidendrum Nocturnum. So we finally get to see something like what the bloom is actually supposed to be like. Whether the petals and sepals push back a little more, I don't know. As I say, this is the first one that's actually opened and not actually self-pollinated. So the other one over there that's producing the seed pod is going to stay there, because my theory was if the plant thinks it's producing seed, it might not self-pollinate the bloom. Well, that's what's happened, but I can't prove that it is as a result of the theory. You see what I mean? It could have done that anyway, even if I'd cut the other seed pod off. But anyway, I'm going to leave that seed pod, because if that theory is true, this bloom might hang in there a while, because it's night scented. It's only just opened, so I haven't had a chance to come out here at night yet. This is it. This is the first day it's ever opened. So that's a big plus for me. That's a success. I've been trying to get this thing to bloom for so long. And yes, I have taken a picture of it for the record. So it is now documented and recorded. Oh, at last. Struggling with that for ages. Right, Tolumnias, we've got 3 other spikes. One's just starting to show its buds. One's just poked out from the leaves, and the other one's virtually full length, and the buds are just showing. So we've got more Tolumnias to come down the line. Another 3 to back those up. Looking over the Nobilies that are lurking around. The Prima Donna has some buds, tiny little things, they're not proper buds yet. The 2 little pieces of the Spring Dreamer pollen that I've got are both going to flower in the not too distant future. This one up here, the buds are pushing on. There's more lurking around the back, and there's another sort of kiki small plant of not Prima Donna, Spring Dreamer pollen tucked up in the back there somewhere, but I can't get at it. Yeah, a short video really, on the grounds that I do have to get myself tarted up to go out basically and see the dentist. I don't know why do you get yourself ready and look smart to go and see a dentist? I don't know. Anyway, it's traditional, so I suppose I better stick to it. And I'll probably not actually video anything tomorrow, but I'll post one of the project plant videos, because I've got 2 ready to go, and there is 1 more still to film, but I'm waiting till I actually water those plants, which will probably be tomorrow actually. So that'll get the project plants out of the way. But as I said, I didn't want to post them one after the other, be a bit repetitive, so I'm trying to get a few bits and, you know, a few different things coming up. You know, the idea, a bit of variety. But as I've always said, there's only so many orchid videos you can do. You know, unboxing, repotting, mounting, new blooms, progress reports. You know, there's only so much you can actually do, so there's got to be some repetition. But you know, plants chop and change throughout the seasons. Some sit there doing nothing in the winter, some actually grow better in the winter than in the summer. Yeah, so there's I try and split it up a bit anyway. That's the idea, not just get the same type of video day after day. Although it's orchids, so there's repetition just in the very subject. So anyway, I will see you next time, and thanks for dropping by. And yeah, that's been hard work getting that thing to bloom. Had that plant well over 3 years. I was a young plant when I got it. I didn't expect it to bloom. But from the point it produced its first bud that never opened, 2.5 years to get a bloom to open on that thing. So, but I can take it off the non-bloomer list. Yay! See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.